This blank page has no meaning, no purpose, and no value. What we choose to fill it with defines what it is. This is the value of context and the power of place, just like how this white page has no meaning, no value, and no purpose. We create it and we give it meaning. This is what defines life and us as humans. The little things make up who we are. Just like we hold these things dear to us, museums hold these memories for other people, things, and places. They share knowledge, create connection to the past and present, empathy and understanding of others and ourselves, and bring people opportunity to learn this otherwise inaccessible information. And they are dying. This is where Rising Relics, the new muse, comes in, taking museums and bringing them back into the light, using museums and individuals as the new muse for creation. This integrated campaign started with research. This research brought about 6 key points, namely background, space versus place, knowledge versus power, experience versus identity, and designer-centered design versus human-centered design. The resources that I used for this were the body and the city, where the dialect between a person and the external world, the perceived, conceived, and lived experience is discussed, and then relation through people's interaction with spaces and places, and the fact that museums are spaces that hold great power in terms of sharing knowledge, and as Foucault puts it best, knowledge is power. And following this, I used Foundation of Museum Studies, where primarily it was used to form the basis of understanding of museology, or the study of museums, and inform the wider knowledge of topics and research. The next resource was cultural reproduction and social reproduction, where cultural capital is important to be understood in the context of museums, as not all people have the same background and therefore cannot equally experience things around them or have the necessary knowledge to interact with exhibits. Next, relational aesthetics was discussed. Through the relational aesthetics, we create place and a rudimentary idea where people become the artwork. Following this, we looked into eco-statistics. There has been an overall decrease in attendance dating back to before the pandemic. Noting eco-statistics is vital to quantifying how and what must be addressed and backing up the problem statement later on. I performed 2 interviews, and in my first interview, it was essential into building the foundation of understanding museums and how, from a professional perspective, museums are declining and how they could be revived. In the next interview, I discovered more about museums, their process, and deeper aspects of museum design and curation, while also discussing feasibility, opportunity, privilege, and access. The next resource that I used was Inside the White Cube, where the idea of removing context removes value is evident. This topic can be correlated and interrelated to objects on display in museums. Understanding space objects occupy and their reasoning is imperative if one wants to do the objects and the viewers the most justice possible. After this, a survey was conducted. This survey was used to form the foundation of users' thoughts and opinions on museums and what possible solutions they could foresee as being beneficial. And then following this, identity and the museum experience. Visitors' individual drives, group identities, decision-making and mean-making strategies, memories, and leisure preferences all play a role in the visitor's experience, which all extends far beyond the museum and the wall of the institution. And next, I did a case study, and I used this case study to see the difference between a well-loved and well-visited museum and one that is less loved and poorly attended. The spatiality of project mapping. This research was integral in understanding the rationale of moving towards more immersive experiences within museums and substantiates the idea of project mapping within museum spaces. Key point was that people are interested in going to museums. They're just not interested in going back. This helped me focus in on the need to create a space where people wanted to go back to. Participants noted what would make them go back to museums as being new or more information and interaction. And they also said that they will all go to museums again and recurringly if these conditions were met. From this, I built my problem statement. In the past decade, there's been a sharp decline in visitation and interest in museums. However, human-centered design and its power to introduce solutions based on users' needs and wants grants an opportunity to produce an experience that would lead audiences back to these invaluable and interactive learning resources. From my research, problem statement, and user participation, I formed a set of deliverables. These deliverables were based on the case study I conducted of an existing exhibit in Ezekiel South Africa Museum entitled The Power of Rock Art. The current exhibit can be seen in the photos on the slide, but for a better experience, see the current layout video located in Room Layout folder. Each of my deliverables was based on a reconstruction of the current exhibit to better the user's experience through human-centered design. The first deliverable is a new room layout using elements of the current room. This deliverable is made in Maya, and it walks you through the newly designed space, explaining and visualizing what the exhibit could be like, from interactive displays, real sand flooring, sound projection, and projector mapped videos, and an interactive drawing wall. This deliverable is a vessel for the following deliverables, and to see the whole video, see the file inside Room Layout. The next deliverable is immersive video displays. The first is an immersive room. This room is an artistic rendition of a rock art storytelling, where elements of rock art have been used to create a looping projection mapped room. For the full projection map room, see both the room layout and one of two in the immersive display folder. The second immersive display is a looping projection of rock art that is projected onto the rock face that goes up the wall and onto the ceiling. And to see the video containing the immersive display, watch the room layout video. The next deliverable is an interactive display or interactive displays. The first set of interactive displays are digital displays that visitors can interact with to learn more about specified topics, with each element being clickable and playable. See the interactive display folder to see the full mock interaction of both displays. And then the second interactive display is where visitors can draw something meaningful to them, their favorite part of the exhibit, or something just from their day, using the tools throughout the exhibit. Whatever they choose to draw and post to the app could be featured in the next exhibit in the following month, where their art becomes part of the exhibit. The next deliverable is merchandise. Merchandise plays into memory making and creating a connection to the museum. To do this, I created a sweatshirt, stationery, member and day pass cards, a notebook, a reusable bag, and artwork. All of the merchandise would also be sourced and produced locally and sustainably. The following deliverable is an app. This app is made to work within and outside of the museum. The app is based on user experience and preferences. It provides information, voiceovers, links, and connection to community, and even a game-like interaction with awards and avatars. To see a rundown of the interaction or to do your own playthrough, see the app in the app folder. The following deliverables are all based as forms of advertisement, connection with new and old users, and spreading information. Starting with posters. All of the posters were created to form interest and give away as little possible information, getting people curious about what is going on. The first poster, starting on the left, splits Africa in two and divides it in a way we don't normally see. This is to get across the idea that the exhibit is going to change your idea and perspective of things that you think you know, with a white space representing a clean slate. The second poster is a more traditional look with a blurred image of the exhibit, teasing the new exhibit to viewers. The next poster teases elements from the exhibit but still has white space, alluding to the clean slate mentioned before. The last poster is targeting children or younger kids with elements of characters from the app and explainer video present. The next up is billboards. The billboards have been adapted designs of the posters to help people create a recognizable image for the campaign. And following billboards is social media. The social media posts are all made to mirror the campaign imagery in a more fun way to attract a larger audience. The posts advertising the new exhibit as something to come and see, either as a change in your own perception or as something more fun. To see all of the individual posts, see the social media folder. And lastly, we have the explainer video. The explainer video has the same imagery as the app, following the animal theme as to avoid misrepresentation or underrepresentation of individuals. The explainer video would be posted on social media or broadcast as a way to share knowledge and information about why and how museums are important, why should people care about them, and ending with a call to action to visit a Zico museum. To see the full explainer video, see the folder entitled Explainer Video. And that is all. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a look at the rest of my files to see all the rest of my full works.